And now I'd like to introduce AJ Parr, who is one of those people that you meet and you'll never forget him. If you've read his books, you realize that the volume of knowledge and wisdom that lies within the pages that he has written and put together. And he's shared many stories of many people. But along the way, he's learned stuff from people. Hopefully, he's even learned something from me. I doubt I haven't had much to give. But for my childish gifts that I give, maybe he's learned something. AJ, if you'd like to give us some words of wisdom, I turn this over to you, and Tanya will take me off the screen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Reverend Bill. I'm really glad you invited me, and that was a wonderful presentation. I always learn from you. You just said that you don't know if I learned anything from you, but I have. And the two main lessons that I've learned are very important. And although I have had two oneness experiences, I intellectually, sometimes I think that I know what this implies. By talking to you, I realized that I have to go even deeper. The other day, you were going to have a treatment, a medical treatment, and I said, I hope it all works well. I hope you improve. And you said, whatever happens is okay. Wow, that blew my mind, but and you gave me an example. You said you went to the doctor once, you had some tumors right beneath your eyes, and the doctor told you that he probably would need to take your eyes out. And you said, whatever happens is okay. Can you tell us that story?
Wow. So if I get back on the screen here, but basically,
Yeah, get back on the screen and tell you. And before I mention the second lesson.
all right. So what happened is I was told that I might lose my eyesight, and I was about as excited as I am right now. I go, okay. Uh, I said, then doc, I probably should bring my wife because I might need a driver going home. And he laughed. And it was like, what? I said, I might need a driver. That was my only concession. And I went in bed and I sat down and they're doing their stuff and never got nervous. And fear never entered my mind. I was totally accepting to whatever happened. And that's the difference. I was totally accepting to whatever happened. I totally trusted God.
Right. So that is the attitude we should have. When we're ill, we always think that we must end that illness and that we must recover health. But there is an old saying that says that we're always focusing on curing ourselves, but we don't listen to what that illness is telling us. We're always ill, or we always have a negative issue in our life because we need to learn something from it. And that attitude that you mentioned, the attitude of facing life and knowing that whatever happens is okay, is the key. If your illness kills you, it's okay. After all, going back to oneness, if we believe in oneness, we must believe that death and life are an illusion. Life is endless. Time is endless. So it's false that an illness will kill us. It's false that when we die, we meet the end, we reach the end. So fearing death or fearing an illness is a big mistake. So we should try to adopt this phrase from Reverend Bill and repeat to ourselves, whatever happens is okay, because ultimately we are God having this dream of multiplicity, because if everything is one, then we are all God. And the second lesson I learned that I wanted to mention today is nothing in my life ever goes wrong. You were also talking about something, medical treatment, a medical issue you had. And I said something like, I hope it goes well. And you said, nothing in my life ever goes wrong. So it's more or less the same as whatever happens is okay. But it's also explaining something that non-dual teachings infer. If let's go back to this concept of oneness. If everything is oneness, if everything is one, then there is no good and evil. Everything is good. If everything is one, there cannot be opposites. What we think are opposites are only an illusion created by us, day and night, life and death, health and sickness. They are all labels that we have created as humans to interpret reality. But in reality, everything is good. There is no evil. So, like Reverend Bill said, nothing in my life ever goes wrong. How can that be? You may have an accident, you may get sick, you may die. Well, that doesn't really affect us. If we are God, if we are one, if we are God having this dream, nothing affects us. We are, the fact that we think we are here is only an illusion. And we must, there's something I have learned by interviewing people who have had near-death experiences. I have interviewed more than 100, and I post these interviews in my YouTube channel, and I mention them in my books also. And one of the things that most people say, apart from saying that in heaven there is no religion, the only thing that exists is love. They always mention that without evil, we could not appreciate goodness. And that they also mention that planet Earth, or this reality, is a school. And without obstacles, without evil, we can never learn. So that ties in with what Reverend Bill was saying. Whatever happens is okay, and nothing in my life ever goes wrong. Because even if it goes wrong, it's teaching us a lesson, and we are improving and we are evolving. So in reality, even what we think that goes wrong is bad, it's actually good. And if you extend this further, and I'm going to mention it, but I don't want to discuss it. What we think is the devil, what we think is evil, is actually good. Not because it is in essence good, but because it helps us grow. Because we need opposites. We need darkness in order to appreciate light. There is no light without darkness. There is no white without black. And ultimately, if everything is one, there can be no devil, there can be no evil. Everything is good because all is oneness. And oneness does not accept opposites. So this is a fabrication. What we think is evil, the devil, sickness, obstacles, things going wrong in life, they are all imaginary appreciations of us as human beings. So I'm going to end this by repeating the two greatest lessons I've learned from Reverend Bill. Whatever happens is okay, even a tragedy. Whatever happens is okay, even an illness. And nothing in my life ever goes wrong, because even if we think things are going wrong. They are actually teaching us. They are actually allowing us to evolve. So ultimately, nothing in my life ever goes wrong. Thank you, Reverend Bill, for these two fine lessons.
Thank you. And I appreciate the lessons that you've learned. It's interesting that what I say people actually listen to. Sometimes I never know. Are my words just floating out there in a void someplace? But thank you. And we'll be doing a podcast tomorrow on publishing books and stuff. That's another whole subject. I just want to plug that for the people that want to look at that later. And at this time,
I can mention a few things.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll be going over the process of self-publishing. Many people have had interesting lives. They may have had a near-death experience or a spiritually transformative experience, and they may have thought about publishing a book, or they may even have written the book and don't know how to publish it. So tomorrow I will explain with Reverend Bill and with Katie Petty. We will explain the process of self-publishing. We will go more into the process of self-publishing than actually writing the book, but we will talk about the steps needed from writing your book to preparing your book for publication and ultimately publishing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.